This is a makeup session for those who attended my Connecticut VMUG user group meeting session earlier today, where I was trying to demonstrate a live demo of my home lab. Here you'll see me turning on the power of a virtual machine that's based on Windows 8. Why Windows 8? Well, webcam drivers are built right in. So I wanted to show the live audience a view of my actual running hardware in my home lab without physically being next to the server. And I had significant challenges with projectors, specifically my laptop configuration with the VGA cabling. But nevertheless, we recorded the demo I did. The sound is terrible, so I'm recording this video after the fact, this audio after the fact. So you're looking at the actual video recorded earlier today. You're seeing me use the VMware console view. The SSD booted rather quickly. Windows 8 is up. And now I've clicked on the desktop icon. All right. You're now going to see me click on the camera icon to show that I have not connected a webcam yet. So it says connect to camera, upper left corner. So what do we have to do to set up USB devices and attach them to VMs? Well, that's what I'm going to show next here. So if we have a look, we take a look at the properties by right-clicking and saying Edit Settings. And we click on Add and follow the happy little wizard to add the USB controller first. Click Next. And click Finish. And click OK. Now we look at the virtual machine and bring up Device Manager in the virtual machine. So I'm going to hit the Windows key plus D to get to the desktop. That's your friend in Windows 8. Okay, here I was attempting to resize, but then I realized that's going to cut off too much of the camera. So I'm going to scroll down, hit the Windows key plus X to bring up the Device Manager view in Windows 8. Right there, hit Windows key plus X, bring up Device Manager. And there we have it. A USB or Universal Serial Bus Controller has shown up in Device Manager. Okay, what's next? Now we need to attach the virtual USB cable from the webcam to the VM. So Windows has a USB controller now. It doesn't normally by default in the virtual world. And we click on Add USB device, and now we see the Logitech video device. That is my C910 USB webcam. It adds very quickly, and then imaging device just showed up in Device Manager. You can see it painting the screen there as it adds devices. So automatically plug and play, drivers built into Windows 8. Very easy. Scroll to the right, and the Metro UI, the Windows Modern UI, and boom, there it is, a live camera view from my home. If we look at the top left corner, you'll see a clock. This demo was given to the room at 4:43 p.m. So blinking hard drive lights. At this point, I covered for the question that came from the audience asking, what is this hard drive enclosure at the top that's on top of my server? That's the roughly $189 Mediasonic 4-bay eSATA/USB 3.0 RAID 5 capable device. And those LEDs in the top are showing it's in a RAID 5 configuration now. Okay, that device has 4 drive bays. And I use an eSATA cable going right to the motherboard. No extension cables, just I think it's a 6-foot heavily shielded eSATA to SATA interface cable that goes straight from the back into the server. All right, another question that came up was, what do I have inside? It's an LSI 9265-8i RAID controller with, I think, 5 drives on there, yep, in a RAID 5. And also, a question came up about the 5.25 bay at the front, down to the bottom of the image there. You're seeing 6 SSD bays. In other words, 2.5-inch drive, laptop-style hard drives. You slide them right in, and now you have full SATA 3 speeds to my SATA 3 SSDs that I use. Okay, another comment came up about monitoring and a look at the operating systems, and I was commenting about SolarWinds via Monitor. Free piece of software. You just point it to your Esxi host. And there you have it, a nice view of how Esxi 5.1 update 1 in this case is running from April 25th, fresh built. And everything you're looking at in this demo is the free hypervisor in the 60-day trial mode. So this is totally uncrippled. And I also have the free vCenter appliance downloaded. All right, after the credits roll and you get the special feature at the end, well, that's what this is. So it's now 10:30 at night, and I'm kind of finishing up what I'd really planned to show the audience today at the Connecticut VMUG user group. I just ran out of time. So yeah, we talked about that webcam view. There it is, 10:28 p.m. And well, we're low on space for one in the resolution here, so I'm going to keep this video sweet and simple, and I'll do a series of more videos on my home lab. But what I really didn't get finished showing was some other appliances, like here's the Power Panel Business Edition. It's an appliance you download from the folks that make the Cyber Power UPS. I think it was about 120 is their cheapest one. And you get this USB cable attached to your UPS, your battery. And what that gets you is automated shutdown. So it doesn't look like much. The console is meant to just sit there, headless. Doesn't really matter what it looks like. What you really want is the web UI. So let me show you the web UI. I'm going to bring up my bookmarks here. All right, well, that's fine. Okay, we're on Chrome. And something I had wanted to show folks was this. Yeah, we can ignore a certificate warning, but now we have a nice connection. And sorry about that. Okay, let's just go with unencrypted. Okay, so UPS is working normally. So web UI is how we can easily see how our UPS is doing. Here's our status, 117 volts wall power, load. This is a bug. Cyber Power Panel Business Edition support folks know about it. They'll need to fix that. Right now I'm using about 100 watts or so, maybe 110. So then, that gives you a live look at watt load. Most important is this stuff. High and low, like when the UPS kicks in, turn off the alarm, which is very easy. You don't need software. You can push a button in the front of the unit to permanently silence the alarm. And that setting persists after power outages, so you don't have an annoyance when it's in the home environment. You can see you can do your usual UPS things you might be used to from other UPS vendors, like run a test and do a load test and see how much runtime you have. Okay, here's a bunch of events. Here's how I have things set up. And I have a full blog post giving details of how you set this up. And then finally, you can send out recipients email and alerts and so forth. For instance, you can send out a test email to yourself and make sure that when your UPS has problems, that you know about it and that it alerts you. Okay, and my phone just beeped. All right, so that's all I really wanted to show for a very quick overview of an appliance, an example of a use case for a virtual machine I leave running all the time in my home. Another one I have is a tunnel that's running Hamachi Vpn Tunnel. That's just a Windows 7 instance. And basically, Hamachi VPN likes Windows 7, not Windows 8 or 2012 yet. So I just leave a Windows 7 VM running with Hamachi VPN. What other use case virtual machines? Well, these are some old laptops that died years ago. Here's a T30, and I made a virtual machine out of it to let it live on with an old app that only runs in Windows XP. So I set that up for remote control, for remote user to get from it to it, and set up port forwarding to a unique port number, not using the obvious port 3389, and a really long password. So yeah, a way to do kind of personal cloud serving. You could put that on a private network, make sure it doesn't surf the web. You can make it so literally one user out of the house can just get to that one VM with a simple point and click of an icon, and boom, it comes up. What else? OS2 Warp's kind of fun to show. I think I'll end with that. We got a lot of other VMs, Windows Server 2012 Essentials. I have lots of good detailed videos coming up on that. Please come back soon. Let's just finish off this little show with a nice nostalgic look at OS2 Warp booting up. Faster than ever before when it was a new product in the early 90s. So 1994 vintage here. You're going to see OS2 Warp come up. It actually runs fine as a VM. There's a lot you can do with various versions of Linux, SUSE, Red Hat, you name it. Ubuntu. There's a lot of OSs you can run, and again, that SolarWinds product is a nifty way to keep tabs on those VMs. So notice SolarWinds shows you everything. It's not, look at that. It actually identifies the OS and gives you a little bit of info about it. So there you have it, a copy of OS2 Warp running, not emulated or simulated or any of that. It's really running, and there's the Windows that you can run on top of it. That brings back some memories, huh? Okay, we'll finish off this little show here with Esxi itself and its summary. You can see I'm using 5.1.0. Update 1 it's called. That's the build number, 1065491. SSH has been enabled. That's pretty normal. A whole bunch of solid-state drives stuffed in there. A couple of Mediasonic enclosures at the moment, and an LSI RAID array. That's a nice beefy 5.46 terabytes with an SSD caching it, a Samsung 130. So there's a quick look at kind of under the hood. If we do a browse data store, yeah, I got a lot of VMs in there. I'm only showing you a subset of VMs for this demo to try to keep things kind of clear and just use one or two of each OS. Configuration is the next other tab you might want to look at, and you get some basics about the box. CPU, I'm using a 2600, not the 2600K, and a Z68 ASRock motherboard. Commodity, right? This is Intel Core i7 family. Not the overclock one, the one that allows VTD and other virtualization features, so 2600. It's running on a Z68 motherboard, like I said, from 2 years ago. So April 2011 technology running here 2 years later in 2013. Been running extremely well with its 32 gig of RAM, which is awesome. And we already talked about the storage on there. Very simple networking. 2 network adapters in use. And a whole bunch of other VMs. Okay. Well, hopefully you found this video helpful. Nested Hyper-V works. Nested Esxi works as well. And I thank you for watching, for visiting the website. Please consider subscribing to the YouTube channel, or in the upper right of tinkertry.com. Click on the icons to follow me on Google or Twitter. Also, another thing you could do would be leave comments below the articles. That's always appreciated. Good and bad feedback, constructive feedback is always great. I'll continue to be producing video trainings, walkthroughs, and all kinds of unique content that you won't find anywhere else.